So grade 6 girls, the first lesson we have completed, that was Introduction to Living Things. Today we will start with lesson number 2, that is Theory of Earth's Evolution. You will learn step by step over the years how Earth evoluted. The evolution of You will study about theory of evolution by natural selection, girls. That is lesson number 2, unit 1, module B.
Miss, yeah, I want the answers of biotechnology.
Okay.
Shane is watching a nature program on birds and is struck by how many...
Hear that, girls? So there is a person who's investigating about birds, and he wants to think that how many types of birds are there? Of this kind of birds are there. So see what all he thinks before he studies about it.
Many different types of birds there are. Some have long necks, some have short ones. Some have long curved beaks, others have short pointed ones. Click the highlighted parts of this bird to see how different species can vary. When you're done, click the next button to learn more about animal variations and the theory of evolution by natural selection. The beak on this Eurasian spoonbill is unique. The bird puts its bill underwater and moves its head from side to side. The shape of the spoonbill's beak and this back and forth movement help the bird to capture small fish and crustaceans. Different beak shapes often reflect the differing diets of birds.
Do you think, girls, now? Like different beaks, when he's observing beaks of different animals, different birds, he came to know that it depends upon what kind of fishes they're eating. Okay? So it depends upon the birds. This is why he was explaining.
Shane notices that the shapes of birds' bodies also vary among species. These flamingos have long legs and long necks. Why might long legs and a long neck benefit a bird? Shane also notices that the flamingos stretch out their necks and legs during flight.
Do you understand, girls? Why do they have long legs? And about their long necks?
Long legs.
Long legs, yes?
Shane notices that the shapes of birds' bodies also vary among species. These flamingos have long legs and long necks. Why might long legs and a long neck benefit a bird? Shane also notices that the flamingos stretch out their necks and legs during flight.
Oh, so this animal, they arrange their neck when they want to fly?
Yes.
They stretch their neck and legs during flight.
The wings on these penguins are not used for flight. Instead, the penguins use them to skillfully maneuver in water. Sometimes penguins move so fast that they actually leap out of the water.
Miss, I didn't understand the penguin.
The penguins use their wings for moving quickly through the water instead of flying. You know that? They move their wings not to fly up. They move their wings to move quickly inside the water.
To swim.
Yes, like to swim, you can say.
Yeah, like to swim.
Welcome to the lesson, Theory of Evolution by Natural Selection. In this lesson, you'll learn how Charles Darwin used his observations and the scientific ideas of his time to develop the theory of evolution by natural selection. The vocabulary words for this lesson are evolution, variation, adaptation, artificial selection, natural selection, mutation, and extinction. Click each word to learn more about it.
When I see this turtle, I have 2 turtles now at my homes. There are 2 now. Previously there were 1. Now we got 1 more. Because my 2 boys are playing with this. You see, we'll study about evolution, adaptation, natural selection, mutation, extinction. Leon, can you just read out these vocabularies?
Okay. Uh, um, uh, evol, eval, evolution,
Yeah.
variation, adaptation,
Adaptation.
artificial selection, natural selection, mutation, extinction.
Extinction. Like dinosaur is an extincted animal.
Yeah. There's lots of extinct animals.
There are a lot of.
Maybe, Miss, how do they know, like, if they're extinct completely?
Because they,
Maybe
like, for example, some disaster occurs and that time the animals are extincted. The scientists, they are usually they are observing them and then they come to the decision that they are extincted or not.
Yeah, but if they don't find them, and after many years, maybe like 100 years.
What is evolution? Evolution.
Okay, wait a minute. Yes, Malak?
If they like for long years they said that it was extinct and nothing, and then after maybe 1,000 years they found some dinosaurs in the jungle.
Yes, it's like that.
Refers to the process in which populations gradually.
Now, what is evolution? Girls, when I say the word evolution, what does that mean? That means there is some kind of population, you see gradual change in them over time. It's a process. Revolution means change. Evolution means what is the process? Changing step by step. What was the process? In which population they change by time. This is called evolution.
Gradually change over time. A population consists of all the individuals of a species that live together in an area. A species is a group of closely related organisms that can produce fertile offspring. A scientist named Charles Darwin developed a theory of how evolution takes place.
The name of the scientist is Charles Darwin, who actually told about, I think last time when we have discussed about the Precambrian, Cambrian, everything, that time also I told you there was a scientist whose name is Charles Darwin, who actually told us about those Precambrian time and, Caesarean time and Mesozoic era, Caesaroic. You remember those words? Mesozoic era. We told about eras. So that was done by scientist Darwin.
Charles Darwin was a British naturalist who helped develop the theory of evolution by natural selection. Click the dots on the line to learn about the influences on Darwin's thinking as he developed his theory of evolution.
So there are many scientists who actually step by step, one by one, their thinking affected. So we'll just see, girls, it's honestly, I will not include this lesson in the test and there's nothing, it's just for information, you just listen to it. Okay, guys?
In 1831, Darwin set sail on a 5-year voyage aboard the HMS Beagle. He served as the ship's naturalist and during the trip made many observations of the animals and plants he came across. He found fossils of sea animals high in the Andes Mountains and identified new species on the Galapagos Islands. Darwin observed that the finches on the Galapagos Islands had little variations from one population to another. Some finches had sharper beaks, while some had thicker beaks. Darwin wondered how these different traits helped or hurt each population. When Darwin returned home, he compared his observations with some of the ideas other scientists had about the natural world. Geologist Charles Lyell's idea that changes on Earth took place over a long period of time made Darwin wonder if living things might not also change over long periods of time. Geologist James Hutton's theory of how mountains form helped Darwin make sense of the fossils he found high in the mountains. A very long time ago, the mountains had been part of the ocean floor. Scientist Jean-Baptiste Lamarck had proposed that species can change over time, but Lamarck thought incorrectly that individuals could change during
over time. There were new breedings that could give you new colored dogs and there were new species. So he said that over time, the individuals could change during their lifetimes also. When they are alive, they can change their body, they can change the way they look. You know that there are different surgeries.
Economist Thomas Malthus thought that the human population is stable due to such limiting factors as the availability of food and land. Darwin thought that similar limiting factors could affect populations of other living things. Natural selection is the process by which organisms that are better adapted to their environment, through inheriting advantageous traits, tend to survive and reproduce with greater success than less well-adapted organisms. The 4 parts of natural selection are overproduction, genetic variation, selection, and adaptation.
So natural selection, girls, what is it? There are 4 things: overproduction, genetic variation, selection, and adaptation. Through these 4 points, the scientists they want to know more, or they are proposing the theory of evolution. By these 4 points, remembering these 4 things in their mind, they try to study about them and they propose theory of evolution. So the first one is overproduction, second genetic variation, how by time the genes, how did they change, and then adaptation, how well they adapt the environment, selection.
Overproduction refers to the concept that many organisms produce more offspring than the environment can support. Competition for limited resources means that not all of these offspring will survive.
Now, girls, if they give birth maybe to 20 offsprings at one time, those 20 will not survive. Like example, I'll tell you. I have a breed of fish at my home that produced, when I bought, there were 2, okay, male and female. And maybe in 3 days, I saw 14 fishes. They gave birth to 14 fishes. Suddenly in the morning, I could see 14 plus 2. Imagine, the 2 big ones and the 14 smaller ones. I was surprised. But in those 14s, only 10 survived, not all of them. Because I gave them food and I took care of them. Or else in the beach, maybe they will die when they don't get their food. Okay? And now I think there are 6 out of those 14 left. So imagine how they change.
Genetic variation refers to the concept that different inherited traits exist within a single population. Another source of genetic variation in a population is genetic mutation, or change in genetic material. Because of genetic variation, most species of organisms have differences among individuals. Selection refers to the concept that certain individuals within a population are more likely to survive and reproduce. Selection refers to the concept that certain individuals within a population are more likely to survive and reproduce.
Okay. genetic variations, we spoke about genes, and here in selection, we said that certain individual within a population are more likely to survive and reproduce. They have more chances of surviving and reproducing. Some of the species.
Adaptation refers to the concept that the specific genetic traits that help an individual survive and reproduce in an environment are passed along from generation to generation. As a result, that particular trait will become more common within the population. Some adaptations allow organisms to survive in specific environments. Fish are adapted to water because they have gills. Bird adaptations include hollow bones, which are light enough for flight.
They have hollow bones. That means their bones are not that weighted because they have to fly. Their body has to be light. Okay, girls, enough for today. It's a very easy lesson. I don't have to explain more in it. So take care and don't think much about it. Try for your, try hard and work hard for your test, for quizzes, and good luck for them. Have a nice day.